Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of WMC Worthy Men's Club. But as you can see, it doesn't pertain just to men. We got a really fascinating story. It's going to involve routines, workplace habits, all the tips and tricks that you guys tune into. So we got a special guest, Christy. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
And to the right of her, we got the one and only Richard.
What's up?
And Yo-Yo, the host.
I believe you got to get an intro to the main host, and I'm your co-host, Nico. So let's get on with the episode. Thank you.
Welcome to the Worthy Men's Club. We'll grow together as we strive to be the best there was. A community of gentlemen reaching for the genuine, health and wealth to classiness, relationships and earn respect. A community for modern men. It's the Worthy Men's Club.
Yeah, so one of the reasons why we wanted to start the podcast is just to have different guests from the local community. It can be anyone from real estate agents to coaches. Now we have an insurance agent, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, I think that bringing on different occupations and different people can give people insight to different careers that they can chase after.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I guess my first question to you would be, what was the road to get to a insurance agent, and what was the reason why you chose that career?
Yeah, so before I get started with my story, right, I come from both of my parents are from Michoacan. I don't know where you guys are from, but my family's from Michoacan, and so I have my dad who went to school, he has his career, and then my mom who made it only to 6th grade, right? So they came to America. Everybody follows the American dream, right? So they had my siblings and myself here. I'm the oldest of 3, and since I was a little girl, I remember my dad saying, hey, you need to go to school, you need to get your degree. That was like Bible, right? Like in my household. That's the only thing we would hear that I knew growing up. But you know what, growing up I went through different phases. I think we all do. One of where I wanted to be a dancing choreographer, right? And I wanted to be in those music videos, and that was just a little phase when I was a little girl. And growing up I had like different what do I want to do, right? I think that's just society, your parents, your family, they just kind of, so ¿qué quieres ser cuando estés grande? And sometimes they ask us at 5 or 6 years old, but we realistically don't even know, right? We don't even know what life has for us. So it went about that. I pursued the college. I wasn't like the A student or anything like that whatsoever. I was in sports. I did soccer, folklorico, the things like that, right? But I was never an A student. And so I think my dad and my mom knew that. I was more like of the, creative, the social. I just couldn't stay still in one thing. So what happened was that I was going to pursue what my dad wanted me to study initially, which was business. Of course, as a oldest, as a woman, I wanted to make him proud. So I said, yes, sure, I'll study that, From after high school, I decided to stay here at Harnell for 2 years and then transfer out. So I did, like the general ed, and I was doing for accounting. Right, I knew all along that I did not want to do that. It was very difficult, and that also showed on my grades. It was more like, I don't know how to tell my dad that I don't want to pursue business.
How long did you do that?
What was that?
The accounting, how long?
It was 2 years.
2 years, okay.
In Harnell. So then from there, I applied to schools and everything, and I was not this like 4.0 student. So the schools that I applied to, I ended up going to Sacramento State. And I actually got accepted into the business program, right? But of course, I, got the courage to tell my dad when I went to the orientation at Sacramento State, hey, Dad, you know what? I've been thinking about it. Ni me acuerdo cómo le dije, pero básicamente I said, hey, I don't want to study business. I want to study English.
Was he understanding, or was his reaction more on the side of like a little disappointment?
My dad was the type growing up that he would not hit us or spank us, Of course he did a few times, but it wasn't like he just would have his like, nos miraba con la mirada teníamos, right? So I was so scared to tell him. That's, I think, I did not want to disappoint him.
Disappointed.
So when I told him, I was expecting the worst, right? But it was actually better than I thought. And he was very understanding, which was really good. So I was able to automatically, on that orientation, change my major completely. And because I had the creative side of, I wanted to be teach English abroad. I wanted to write books, you know. I wanted to, I've always wanted to kind of get to people in the sense of like impacting them, but through words, through like art, you know.
Okay.
And so that's how that happened. My last semester, now I'm taking this story a little long.
No.
The last semester,
Sure.
you know, I was dating someone. Long story short, I got pregnant. So from that point on, I became a mom, right? So I put all my goals, aspirations, everything on pause.
This is before you got the degree?
This was in the transition of, so I never finished it.
Gotcha.
You know, I never finished it. My dad said, someone that would pressure me and that was like having high expectations of me, he said, hey, you know what? It's okay. Like take some time while you have your baby and then you can go back. Well, that back never happened, right? So I was a stay-at-home mom, wife at the time. And I knew all along that I did not like that, you know. And props to all the moms and dads, you know, stay-at-home moms especially, because I've been there, right? And especially me, that I was like, I was always thinking, oh my God, I did this, I did that, I was in this club, I did that internship, you know. I was doing all of these things for what? I'm here at home washing dishes, cooking, taking care of a baby, and I love my son, don't get me wrong, I don't want to give the wrong idea. But it was more than anything like, I still want to pursue my goals, you know. I was not complacent. I was not happy being in that situation of not doing anything.
Yeah.
So, long story short, then COVID happened, 2020, right? At this time, we had a mutual person that introduced me to one of my mentors in business. And it was through Zoom, right? So I knew I wanted to do something. I knew I wanted to get back to school, get my master's, you name it, right? It was just more like I was lost in the moment because I had no identity. I was just a mom and a wife, but I had nothing. At least I felt that. I had nothing to offer, you know, at the moment. So I had this appointment and basically sold me the dream all over again. And that's what made me, you know, start this journey in the financial services industry. And since 2020 till now, you know, I love what I do, you know. Right now we have an office out here in downtown Salinas.
Nice.
And that's how it came about, you know. And the funny part was that I went to business. It's like I'm doing business with that, you know, that I did it
Years?
after like 4 or 5 years.
After 4 years?
Yeah.
Now, I'm getting the sense of you had to finish something.
Yeah.
Like you started something and it was like ticking in the back of your head, like,
Yeah.
I need to finish this.
And you know
Finish what I started.
Yes, and you know, maybe it happens to a lot of us. You know, from knowing what I wanted to do, I just became completely lost. I felt like I was just known for being hija de Martín Alfaro, which a lot of people know my dad in this area, and me not having my own identity. Always, you know, pinning me to my family, Alfaro family. Or when I got married at the time, you know, he has a business, so to him. So I didn't have anything. You know, I just felt like, okay, well, what am I going to do? What's my legacy? I want my son to also say, hey, I have a badass mom, you know? And so that's what happened. You know, from being lost, I found myself. I found what I was really, truly, you know, wanting to pursue. Because even in the transition of school, they tell you that you know, hey, you have to know what you're doing. What are you studying? But it's like, well, how do I know what I want to study if I need to first take some classes to figure out what direction I want to take? Why do you think right now a lot of the people that are majoring in different degrees are doing the complete opposite in the real world?
No jobs.
You know? So sometimes, you know, that happens, but then I found myself, and I'm doing business, basically.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
If you could go back to before you started going to school and all that, would you do anything different?
You know what? I've thought that. Obviously, when you're going through situations, you think, well, what if I would have done this? Or what if I would have done that? But I came to the realization and took a lot of maturity and growth more than anything to really accept and embrace my faces, you know, the layers of the woman that I am, like, you know, the person that I'm that I'm no longer at this moment, and the woman that I was becoming. So if I go back to your question, I think that I always say, you know, I am very big on my faith that God has a plan for each and, you know, every one of us, right?
That's the best of planners.
Yeah. So I wouldn't go, I mean, I would go back and maybe, you know, have like I would probably just tell myself like, hey, don't give up. Like, God has big things for you. But I wouldn't go back and do things differently because I don't know if that would actually have shaped me to the person that I am now.
Did that relate any way into meeting your business partner, just from the other activities that you pursued before? Or how was the story of you meeting that opportunity, Bliss?
Yeah. So it actually was from my son's dad. They knew each other because she used to live out here in the Monterey County years ago. Then she moved, you know, and then she's very successful. And basically he said, no, you know, I'm not interested, but here, talk to her. So it came about where he never really gave her my number. And months later, I think she kind of asked for it again. And then I said, give it to her, you know? So basically, to your question, when I met her, I already knew what she was doing. I already knew what you know, the industry she was in and the impact she was doing in her community. So in that transition of me being lost, I always knew I wanted to make an impact. I needed to find where I was good at, where I was going to be able to grow, you know? So it was more like I already knew I was going to, it's like going into an appointment and knowing like this appointment is going to change my life, you know?
Oh, so you felt that like right during that first meeting?
Yeah, I knew like, okay, like she's making, you know, really good money. She's helping the community. Like this is something that, you know, she gets to travel. She has her flexibility. And so obviously in school, going back to the school, they don't teach you how to, you know, you don't go to school to learn how to be an entrepreneur, right? It's like more of the employee mindset. So my family doesn't come from business, you know. So for me, it was more than anything, really going through that transition and doing a little bit of research before having the appointment with her, but knowing, oh, this is going to be something amazing. And it was life-changing for me. It was like what saved me in the moment.
And the meeting was pertaining to becoming an insurance agent?
Yeah, like the opportunity side of it.
Was it more of just like general knowledge about how to become one, or was she willing to give you that opportunity after knowing what type of person you were?
Yeah, so it was more of, you know, selling me the dream of like, hey, you know, because I obviously explained how I had gone to school, how I had years with, you know, just on pause, and basically I felt like I didn't have the experience, right? And she sold me the dream of saying, hey, you know what, like I can help you, I can mentor you, guide you, you know, train you, give you the tools, the resources, and so she gave me that confidence that I was lacking in the moment.
How important is it to have a good mentor in your life?
Oh, it's like a Bible, you know. If you maybe not everybody, you know, is big on their faith, but it's like when you are feeling, you know, you're going through a rough patch and you think, oh, I need to go to church to feel that peace, or the Bible, I need to read the Bible, you know. For a mentor, it's like that.
What did she teach you and how did she make you feel?
I basically was able to build my identity. I didn't have one. So she gave me the confidence. She gave me the tools to receive the knowledge in that industry, right? Because it's a lot of learning. You're always a student. It doesn't matter if you're making $1 million, $2 million, $100,000 a year, whatever. It doesn't matter. You're always a student in life. And, you know, her and her husband actually, and a few others, but mentors are very crucial in your life. You know how they say you need like a religious mentor, like a gym mentor, you know, and so you need a business mentor too.
The health, wealth, and spiritual.
Yeah.
It's true. It's very, very true. It comes to the point where in your life, that's all you want.
Well, they say you're the product of the 5 people you hang around with the most.
Yeah.
I believe that's true.
Yeah.
Was it any difficult to go from 5 years paused on any sort of career or education to learning these steps to becoming an insurance agent?
Yeah, so I was scared. It was more like I'm scared, but I want to do it type of feeling, you know? So I felt very lost, you know, and I received the help right away. I would like, you know, very welcoming, opening arms of like, hey, I'm here to guide you. It's like a baby, you know, you're not going to let go of that baby until they can fully walk on their own. You're going to hold them and, you know, every step of the way until they can do it on their own. So that's how I felt with my mentor, giving me the confidence more than anything, because once you have the confidence and you believe in yourself, especially having someone else believe in you, believing in you, saying, hey, you know what? It doesn't matter what happened in the past or what you did or didn't do. Like, I believe in you. And having that belief from someone and you believing in yourself, she gave me that more than anything. Everything else with, you know, guidance, training, etc., the knowledge, you start learning about business.
She put you through the test, and were you scared?
Oh, yes,
Yeah?
definitely.
Do you remember like a story where...
Oh my God, yes, I remember. This is my other mentor, Giovanna.
Shout out to Giovanna.
Yeah, shout out to Giovanna and Erica Aguilar and Ricky Aguilar. But Giovanna, you know, she was helping me in the process of studying to get my license, my state license in California. She was also training me how to sit with someone properly, you know, how to go through the financial analysis, everything to get to the part of like the application and the best interest of our client and helping them, you know, and their family. And so I literally was so, it's like when you put your life on pause and do nothing in that kind of like the working area, right? And then you go and you're like al 100%, you know, you're like super motivated. And so I remember that she even says to this day, like, oh, Christy we had appointments all day. So in those appointments, I was so like, yes, Gio, I'm learning, I'm shadowing you, like, we got this, you know? And then she goes one day, hey, Christy, I think you're ready to start to run that appointment on your own. I was like, sentí como que la sangre se me, you know, como se me cayó, no sé, that feeling, right?
The belief you were talking about it, that, you know, that pushed you to...
Yeah, it was like, completely took me out of my comfort zone. I was so like, I love, you know, at the point when I already got my license, oh, I'm already making my first checks. Like, yes, I can just send, you know, give you all the clients and I can shadow and I can, you know, I was thinking like, oh, I need more practice. And one day, boom, no, you got this. And I was like, no, I can't, you know, thinking like that, having that doubt in myself. And then I remember she called me before my appointment. She said, listen, the client doesn't know what's, you know, like if you say something wrong, you know, just play it out, you know, como síguele. The client no va a saber that you messed up.
Yeah.
And so, not that I was giving that person false information or anything like that, you know?
You used to be a mentor, so...
Yeah. So I said, okay. So then that appointment and the next, and then I started getting really, you know, good in other areas, not just specifically with the clients, but also helping the newest person that wants to get their state license and training them and the whole process all over again.
How long was the time frame between getting onboarded to getting your first client alone without anyone nearby?
So I started that July of 2020. Like I said, I was trying to get the training in and the license at the same time so that I can be licensed and be like, okay, I'm ready to go, right? So for me, I remember that I had so many appointments. I was trying to reach a milestone in the first month that I changed my licensing test like 2 weeks later. So by the time I got my license approved, because in California, by the way, for those people that have the insurance license, right, they can take their sweet time. Okay. So I took my exam like August, but I didn't get licensed or approved until about mid-September. But by then, I was already I was already trained. I was still training. So I don't remember, I can't recall right now what month it was that my mentor said, okay, you're ready to do it on your own. But it was in those months. It was in that year, definitely, in the 2020 year.
Is there a certain criteria to take that insurance test? Because you're saying it took you like 2.5 months, around there?
Well, I took my exam like a month from when I got started, but it didn't get approved until like another 2.5 weeks or so. Okay. But no, you just have to be 18 years old. In California, I love the fact that if you're a Spanish speaker, you can study the exam, like the questions and everything in Spanish, and also take the state exam in Spanish.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yes. If you have an I-10, a social, you can take the state exam and get your license in California. And obviously for the English speakers, it's the process of 13, 14 chapters to study on your own time, pace. A little trick that I did was that I did not go page by page. I just went to the end of each chapter and I would watch that video for like 3 times because I was like,
gave you that tip, or it was just something that?
No, somebody gave me that tip.
Okay.
They
Mentor.
said, hey, just go to the watch the video about 3 times. Those are like the key points of the chapter. Each chapter has a quiz, and it tells you how much you get in the quiz, and you can take it as many times. So it's basically, there's no criteria. It's just somebody that's basically willing to learn and willing to have someone else mentor you at the beginning, because obviously you don't come from the industry, you don't have the knowledge. So anybody can do it, really.
There's no like on the job hours before you take the test.
No.
If someone really wanted to get it over with, maybe in a week or 2.
In 2 days, you can take the exam.
Oh, wow.
That sounds like a great opportunity for
There's people that do it, their exam, they take their exam, like they start on Monday, and by Friday they're already like taking their exam. Or in 2 days I didn't do this, right? Because I was like appointments, but other people are like, no, I want to get my license already in the first week.
And then you have your house and 2, you had
Yeah. So obviously the sooner the better, because like I said, sometimes California takes a little sweet time on approving your license. Once you have that license in California, getting any other license like in Oregon, in other states, it's so easy. You just pay the state fee, and then like a week later, or even 2 hours later, or 2 days later, depending on each state, you get your license already.
So for people that might be interested in possibly looking into this, would you say that this state test was something difficult, or it's pretty doable?
Let me tell you how easy it is. You have to pass with a 60% or better.
So it's just a matter of wanting to do it.
Yes, and
Putting a
it's,
little bit of effort.
if I'm not mistaken, because it's been a while now, I think it's 83 questions, multiple choice.
But do you think that it doesn't necessarily just take someone to pass their test to become a good agent?
No.
You have that drive before you came in. You have that motivation from wanting something.
And you know what? Even if you don't have that drive, or you're looking, or you feel lost like I did, as soon as you start and you get, we're pushing, helping them, guiding them, that they find that drive when they get started.
You don't think that came also from like your dad? Like he's successful, you have that pressure, like I need to be a badass like my dad?
For a long time, of course, my dad, I always say my dad is the one que me da las alas, like, hey, go for it, my mom is the one que me mantiene los pies en la tierra, like the one that says, hey, yes, fly, but remember to be humble, So definitely, of course, my dad played a big role in that, right? Like I knew that direction that I wanted to be successful. Maybe my way was not 100% graduating from college, getting my master's, doctorate, you name it. But I knew that I had other ways to be successful. And I think, me and my dad, he's actually one of the persons that I really value our relationship, because I know we both have learned from each other by making mistakes, him as a dad and me as a daughter, right? But definitely him being so strict and telling me, hey, you need to have a degree. If not, you're not going to have a good job. You're not going to get good money. You're not going to be able to, sometimes he would take us to dinner and say, oh, you guys like how we go to dinners and stuff? Yeah. Oh yeah. It's nice. Yeah. Well, you need to get your degree if you want to start coming, if you want to go to on trips or dinners and nice dinners and stuff. So my dad, and now we have these conversations sometimes, because I have my other siblings who have their degrees. They have a really good job. They're stable, at a very young age. And so sometimes I say, Dad, like, entre copa y copa y así jugando, Dad, what do you think? Yo no terminé mi carrera. Ya no la ocupas. You don't need it. Someone that said that was like, you need to go to get your degree.
But you proved to him.
Yes, and he really saw, like, that's why I say we both learn from each other.
Yeah, and not to put women down, but it's admiring when the woman actually gets into sales position in business and comes on top. So
yeah, and it's more than anything, especially because the women have expectations, right? In the society, in the Hispanic community, we have these expectations. And so my dad, not that he was wrong, it's just that his beliefs were a little bit different than mine.
Yeah, different times.
I used to say, you know, oh, yo soy la oveja negra. I did everything the opposite way of what my parents wanted me to do. Everything, absolutely everything, you know, with getting pregnant without being engaged or married, you know, everything you could possibly think of. Not finishing my school, like I was everything. And so it took me time, right? But I was able to show my parents, like, hey, you know, what drives me, like what makes my blood boil is, you know, being a business owner or wanting to be, you know, a very successful business owner in the future, and having different sources of income, you know? And so there's no right or wrong as to what you need to do, what roads you need to cross. I think that everyone will go through struggles too in life that will push you to your limit and to where you need to be, because that's what happened to me.
The test makes you stronger.
The test, you know, being broken, everything has, you know, helped me be in this. I'm 30 now, right? So maybe I'm still not where I want to be, but definitely it's been a long way from where I was. And my mentor Ricky always tells us, hey, do not compare your chapter 10 to somebody else's chapter 20, you know? And so that's what keeps me going.
Well, this is not only the worthy men's, it's also the worthy women's. And what would you tell like young women going through the same scenarios as you, like, oh, my parents are strict, or I have to follow like criteria, but I want to do this?
Always, and you know, this might sound like cheesy, right? When they say follow your heart, but because sometimes you don't follow it, and then God and life throws you back to where, you know, you really have to be, right? But follow your heart. You know, whether you're married, a single mom, a single parent, a dad, even you're going to school, you're feeling lost, you're going through maybe a really bad breakup, a divorce, you name it. Doesn't matter the circumstance that you're in. I think all women hold a lot of value, especially for the men. You know, it's women who raise the kids, who bring that nurturing love into the home, who obviously, you know, have these careers. And, you know, I've saw some data, I don't even know where exactly, but some data where women are being very successful and are earning a lot of money, you know? Yeah. And so I think that we have the expectations as women that you need to do this, that by this age, or you need to, you know, beliefs that maybe our ancestors, los ancestros, como dicen, no, instilled in our families, and it's generations, but as women have to break those barriers, have to break those generational curses.
I think women are setting the bar high.
Yeah.
Men are staying behind. Like, we are the same as 50 years ago. Is we work and that we think that's it. Women had a taste of it. I'm like, hey, I'm helping you work. It's not that bad. I'm working full time. You need to step it up too. So, but men are not catching up to women. Women are attending colleges more than men. They're, like you said, working more, getting paid more, and men don't seem to be setting the bar as high as women.
Yeah, you know, I always say, right, it's like we'll never compare it to a man, because obviously the man is a provider, the strong one, you know, that holds it down, right, in reality, like holds the home. But definitely women have hold a lot of value, and for those single people out there, you definitely want to say, it's like my coach tells us, right? Don't date if you're not planning on marrying. Don't waste your time, you know? And so obviously we have to date, we have to experience it for ourselves and everything. But as you grow older, you have like a different kind of mindset or perspective. You can say things can change, you know?
What does a worthy woman look for in a man?
Someone who has a big vision, right? That the mindset, the vision, the morals, values, and principles. I'm gonna go back and forth to
That's
this.
Okay.
Women at the beginning, we were told to be wives and moms, and then it's shifted throughout the years that, oh no, you need to be a boss babe, you need to be a workaholic, and you don't need a man. Like, be a feminist. Like, no. You know, I believe the woman and the man can do very amazing things together. And so women just want to find someone that, you know, has something going on for themselves, and that can provide overall. Doesn't mean I'm still going to have my thing going on. I still want to be successful, but I want to know that two people can be a power couple, you know? So it's definitely like, okay, well, I'm not going to date you for nothing. I want to date to get married or eventually have a family. So what kind of values and morals and principles do you have that we can kind of like connect, and how are we going to be able to, you know, have a future legacy together? Because I think that's very important nowadays. You know, and it's not shaming or judging anyone, but sometimes I feel like people are trying to avoid marriage or families or kids because we have these different mindsets and perspectives, and some are pretty dumb, to be honest, you know? But I think that two people, like the man and the woman, can do a lot of big things together. It's just finding that specific person who's willing to work with you for that big vision and goal, you know?
Well, you came in with not only a great career, but I want to backtrack and talk a little bit more about the position that you explained earlier, because personally I like to know a lot about the business side of things. But if you want to change to this relationship conversation, go ahead.
No.
I wanted to ask, when you actually got that first meeting alone with your client, did you think of yourself as a confident woman, one that can sit down with a potential buyer and have all the knowledge and all the sales techniques?
No. At that first appointment, I did not. I was probably like at a 70-75% confident, but I did not feel like, oh, send me with anyone with like the big dogs, how they say, you know, and I'm gonna be close it. No, I did not find that because, like, again, building an identity as a woman or a man, it takes a lot of time. Yeah. It's a long journey. You need to read books. Like I said, mentors are amazing in your life. It's like the new habits you're adjusting to, right? Because obviously I cannot get to a point, you know, A, where I want to be if I still have like shitty habits, and excuse my language, right? I've been there, done that. Trust me, I haven't been the most coachable sometimes, right? But at the beginning, I did not have that confidence, like 100%. No, you have to be a student. And even doesn't matter the position you are in your industry or your business, or, you know, I think that you always have to remain as a student, regardless. Continue.
Be a sponge, absorb any good info that comes your way.
Especially when, you know, you have mentors that are there, you know, willing to help you and guide you. I think that if you have them, like, that's a blessing, you know, and be attached to them. Like I said, I've been through my phases of maybe not doing it, you know, but what had to happen to me, I had to fall on my face, eat, you know, shit, and get back up and kind of redirect myself, like, hey, that's, you know what, you know, kind of like what you have to do to get where you want to be, you know.
How many months or years would you say until you got to a point where you looked yourself in the mirror in terms of your career and you told yourself, wow, I actually got this, like, I know I can close deals, I know I can get appointments?
Yeah. So when I started that July, I want to say by January of that was 2020. So January of the 2021, I was like, I felt like, send me with anyone, you know, because I was, like I said, I was kind of just putting my head down, minding my business, and just getting to work. And so that meant like attending the trainings. Well, at the time it was on Zoom. You know, shadowing as many appointments as I could, remaining a student, being coachable, because somebody else, when you have a mentor in business, they already did that. Mm-hmm. So they already know the do's and don'ts.
They failed, they went through the hardship. Yeah,
so I was like genuinely just being a student and just listening to what they, you know, how the guidance, you know. Mm-hmm. So I would say it was quick, because by January I felt like, okay, I can, I started getting good at in other areas, like I mentioned, not just simply sitting with someone and first finding out, you know, how I can help this person, or the education that I can provide for them. But it was more than anything like, oh, okay, well, let me help you now with your process of your license.
Now, these services and education, how can you benefit the customer, the client, the community?
So, you know, here in the Monterey County especially, we have a lot of we're big on the Hispanic community, right? A lot of times they, you know, come again to look for the American dream, right? So a lot of times they're only Spanish speakers, and they sometimes think that to be able to receive some services here in the United States, they have to either have, you know, be a citizen, resident, they have to be making good money, they have to speak English, you name these things, right? And so, more than anything, the priorities in the Monterey County is that, hey, we're doing these free educational workshops. We go to schools, we work with nonprofits. We collaborate with other business owners. The way that we provide this education to our community is simply by first, we can do a presentation, right, of different services that we provide. It doesn't cost a thing. Because I know sometimes people, and it's okay. They charge for a financial analysis. They charge like $50, you name it. And we do it like generally. We help them out first figuring out, how can we get them from maybe not having like a savings or having some debt or not having like life insurance. How can we get them to, help them with their financial goals? So we provide a lot of, education, whereas, being prepared maybe 6 months with savings in case of an emergency, right? Or simply providing the information about the opportunity. Because a lot of times our community thinks that, again, oh, I cannot do this, I cannot do that, no. But it's like, no, let me tell you can, because we offer it in Spanish too. And you don't have to have a degree, you don't have to have specific experience in the sales industry or business industry. It could be someone, because we've had people en los files, los empaques, who quieren a better opportunity. They want to have more flexibility with their kids or their, husbands, wives. They're tired of their long hours and, their low pay and everything. So they just want to better, their themselves and their families' stability. So that's what we provide. More than anything, first, we sit, it's like a one-on-one interview. It's not an interview, but I would say it's more like, let me find out what your needs and goals are.
Not everybody's the same. Everybody has different needs.
Everybody's different.
It's free to do a meeting with you?
Yeah, it's free. And even when, let's just say it's life insurance, because I know I've sat with you in the past, right? We have to submit an application. It's a whole process. It's not like, oh, here, I'm charging $100 when I haven't even approved anything.
You're taking your time every day.
Yeah, it's like I'm generally doing that because I want the community to know what they can, the services that they can have. And, I want to help out my people.
Yeah.
More than anything.
Benefit.
Yeah.
What is one of the ways that most of the Hispanic people benefit from having this type of insurance?
Well, and maybe, I don't know, I haven't asked you, gentlemen here, but one of the big ways is that when I talk about life insurance with the Hispanic community, right, more than anything them, they have these beliefs, right? No, quiero hablar de eso porque todavía pienso morir, or no, está muy caro, or no, or, and so the way that life insurance, the topic itself, impacts the community is because, what happens? There's a breadwinner. It's a humble family, right? The breadwinner, maybe it's 3 kids, right? No English whatsoever. Maybe they're working 2 jobs to maintain the family, the household. Well, what's going to happen if the breadwinner gets sick? Or, ni Dios lo quiera, llega a fallecer? What's going to happen to the wife and the kids, right? So that's the most beneficial way. If you're a parent, if you have debt, if you're a homeowner, if you are young and healthy and you're maybe still not married, have a family or anything like that, but you want to lock in and prepare yourself, have that foundation set in place for the future, right? So our community, our Hispanic community, or even when I tell them all the time, listen, I know she's a stay-at-home wife, and you think that she's not working, that she doesn't need a life insurance policy, but let me tell you, she does. Why? Because God forbid something happens to her, she gets really, really sick, right? She won't be able to cook, do the laundry, do all of those things. Well, the husband's going to need some help for the babysitters to have a daughter or someone or him go buy the groceries, So everyone, I always say everyone in the household, including the kids, need a life insurance policy.
And I know this is kind of a little bit, off, but it kind of reminded me, have you guys anybody seen the movie Radical?
No, I have not.
No,
seen
I
Medical.
haven't.
Medical.
It's amazing.
Yes, and the moment where the parents have to work and the little girl has to leave school to take care of her.
Yeah,
newborn,
she's the one raising the
yeah,
newborn
exactly,
sibling.
and she stops going to school
Wow,
because of
this is a
it.
true story.
Yes,
Yes,
not true story?
Eugenio Derbez.
Yeah,
La-
really good movie. Yeah.
Is it on theaters or it came out?
It was on theaters.
It was
I don't
on
know if it's
this-
still there, but
yeah,
you
wow.
can find it. It's
Probably
really
I
good.
still have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes you cry. It's so
It's a fairly new movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, radical.
Well, they say
Yeah.
there's only two things secure in life, and that's paying taxes and debt. So
Yeah, no, and it reminded you when she said that, because and maybe because this is taking place in a different country, right? But still, you bring those beliefs, where our parents grew up, and then they come over here, and you do see those things, unfortunately more often than you would like. You always know about when somebody passes, what does everybody do? Yes, we're good at getting something together, un kermes or something like that.
GoFundMe or
But
something.
sometimes it could get a little embarrassing for the family.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
You struggle.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You
And
don't have the energy for that.
yeah,
either.
and not a lot of people are, like you said, are aware of what these services even exist for people that don't even think that they're obtainable.
Yeah, and that it's a good point. You don't have to give up your life or your goals or your dreams for yourself or your household, your kids, just because of a illness or death in the family. That's what life insurance does, and more than anything, too, you create a legacy, believe it or not, for your kids. If something, God forbid, happens, because now you're leaving them, financially well, right? Whether that covers the mortgage, the rent, the kids' education, the clothing, the food, transportation, you name it. And if you have extra, after you take care of all the bills and everything, then you can have, oh, well, maybe I need a new car, or my daughter is going to college in 3 years. Now you can help. I hear many, many stories in this industry, and it's very powerful. Sometimes it's just a lack of knowledge or misconceptions of the topic. Whereas people sometimes, even when I go to them and I want to provide information, they're still very close-minded to it. And it's okay. It might take me 3, 4, 5 times. But then I know, I believe it in my heart that one day they'll finally listen to the information that I need to give.
What are some of the things people say to you when they feel kind of off-put on getting life insurance? Maybe the most common things that you come across?
No, ¿para qué se le quiero dejar al Sancho el dinero? No, ¿para qué? No, mis hijos que vendan la casa y que me entierren. And it's always putting the family to struggle.
Yeah.
Well, you
You're
don't
going to be
even
gone,
have to.
but your kids,
Yeah.
you don't want to put them to that struggle.
Yes.
And the beneficiaries don't only have to be your kids, right?
No.
Say if it's like a young couple,
Yeah.
it can go to only their wives or husbands, or also...
No, it could be like a mom, a dad, a brother, your kids. It could be anyone that's obviously someone very close to you.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah. A madrina of your kid, especially when you want to insure your kids, or you want to have a policy, but your kids are still under 18. I always say, hey, until they're 18, they will, if God forbid something happens to you when they're still young, who would be that person to take care of your kids that we can put as beneficiary, because in case that your kids cannot receive the insurance yet, until they're 18. And then they put like, oh, pues mi hermana, oh, pues la madrina de mi niño, like that.
I know in the beginning we talked about your journey from the positive education to your career, but I don't think we actually got a breakdown of your title. Is life insurance the only thing that you provide and your sole focus?
So I am a broker, right? An agent. So financial services is pretty... it entails life insurance, retirement planning, college planning, debt solutions, setting up like a emergency fund for your family, and of course the life insurance does different plans and everything, and also annuities. Or sometimes we provide information when you have like a 401k and you want to roll it over, or like an IRA, you want to roll it over to something that's safer.
Yeah, it sounds like you kind of give a vast array of options for people to get their finances in order.
Yeah.
And maybe prevent things that hopefully don't happen.
Yeah, definitely. I don't specifically work for one company. That's why I'm a broker. I find the best fit from all the ones that I work with, and because like, again, not everybody everybody has a different financial need and goal. And so that's why I say you're a student, because you're constantly training on these carriers with new products, new adjustments, et cetera, benefits, et cetera. You always have to be learning and learning. So if somebody says, hey, I have diabetes, something, okay, I already know what company. Or, hey, you know what? I have an I-10. Okay, I already know what company.
Pays well to be very versed in what you do.
Yes.
Okay.
So I just, I know there's other agents out there, or brokers or agents that specifically just have one or two options. I don't like that. For me, at least. I want to make sure that whoever I sit with, I can give, I can really, really help them.
You want to help anyone that comes through your door.
Yes. Not just limited to one or two options, because that's all I have to give them, to help them with. So I like that, all the companies that I work with.
Not to call out any names, but throughout your journey with the group that you work for or work with, did you see anybody that really didn't meet the expectations? One person that didn't qualify as a good salesperson? Like, what makes a good salesperson?
Being very genuine. I think that more than anything, you have to be genuine and really wanting to help that person, not for your commission. I'm not going to just sell someone because I want, the commission part. No. Of course, that comes with you being very genuine. You're going to have many blessings come your way. Everybody has different circumstances, situations, struggles. And you have to, really, really do the financial analysis and say, hey, given the circumstance, maybe you have extra $300 a month. Let's start at least with $30 a month. There's people that have done it in the past, maybe that they see them that they're so tight each month and they still push to something.
So say there's a genuine broker out there, but they're not getting any clients. They have the means, they have the knowledge, they want to help people, but no one's coming through the door. How do you get those people to have an appointment with you?
So you're saying about the agent or the client?
Or the agent themselves.
So basically you need a good mentor and a system. Because if you don't have a system in place, or don't know what the heck you're doing, right? In other words, then you're going to not do things right. I remember one time I posted something on just kind of to share an educational reel on my Instagram on, helping two people and what it paid me, right? And how it's so simple, to kind of, share with someone that maybe wants to look for something else for additional income, right? And so someone commented there, oh, where do you buy your leads? Or how much do you spend on leads? And I'm like, I don't buy leads, like whatsoever. So having a systems in place and having the mentors that literally show you and guide you on how to be a good agent or broker, that goes a long ways.
I remember when we brought Victor on the podcast, he mentioned something about being a good salesman. That's people buy from whom they like. And I know before the show started, you were talking about being transparent, that you want to be honest and get people trust, right? What's something that we could get into about your personal life that they can know about you? Maybe something they could relate? First of all, I saw you like to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what do you like?
I haven't been as consistent the last month, but yes.
What do you like to work out? Like more cardio, more weights, or?
Before, because I've always been very thin my whole life, it was just weights to build on some muscle, and then this year was very tough on me that I was so stressed and everything happened. I was gaining weight.
Okay.
I think it was just stress eating, my cortisol levels, everything, my hormones, So definitely going back to being consistent is a challenge, because you start with these habits and then you kind of drop them. And then you go out to your dark phase, and then coming out and coming back to light and starting again with your new with the habits you want to have. And it takes a lot of consistency and resilience for sure. Yeah.
Now, what's your favorite morning juice?
So I make this, it's called, TikTok shows these things, but not just TikTok. You have to really dig in deep and okay, is this real, or I want to know the benefits and from real solid nutritionists and stuff. Yeah. So this is it's called the beauty juice, but it's basically super simple, especially me. Like I said, I'm trying to get my gut healthy again.
Okay.
I'm trying to, balance out my cortisol levels.
Everything starts from the gut.
Yes. It starts with your health, and then the wealth comes, right? But, so it's super simple. It's like a apple cider vinegar, right? Lemon, orange juice, strawberries, coconut water, sorry. It just helps you. It's kind of like if you're bloated, if you want energy.
You have seen the difference?
I feel good, like, me siento ligera. Me siento bien en las mañanas. Like, if I clearly have that, and then my probiotics and my vitamins, I feel really good. Yeah.
Now, what's your favorite coffee?
My coffee,
And do you make it or it's bought?
I mean, I wish I had like a really fancy machine, right? My boyfriend's going to hate me for this, but because he's always telling me that I have put a lot of sugar in my coffee, and the coffee's supposed to be drank by.
It's a woman thing. My wife too. She likes it super sweet, and I like it like.
Hey,
basic.
not only a woman thing, okay?
Well, I like, the
That's what
lattes.
it is too. Yeah.
No, it takes me bomb sometimes.
Yeah, I like the lattes, the cappuccinos, the cubanitos.
No, those are good.
Yeah, they're so good. But I know I have to. I already started reducing on the sugar. I have to really taste the coffee as it is. But that's my favorite coffee.
Hot or cold?
I like it hot.
Hot, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
And you said you enjoy taking your son to school?
Yes, I do. Right now he's at a private school, so I enjoy, making his lunch. I'm not so like creative with that, but I make his lunch.
TikTok.
Right? I know it's good. I see the moms on TikTok opening like a big cajon with all these things, and I'm like,
how many times it took to make that video or that video? Probably like 3 days.
it's like I can't do it. I bought some stuff on Amazon, and I already lost some of the things. I don't know where, but
I feel like they'll be happy with chicken nuggets in there. So
And or sometimes when I've gone out of my way and done like the whole decorative on my son's lunch, comes back and I'm about to wash it, and I'm like, no te comiste las uvas, y te puse este little como decoration on it, But I enjoy taking him in the mornings before I start my day, because it's a private school, so they do also like a prayer in the morning.
Oh, that's nice.
Like a little assembly, and they pray and everything, so I like to be there present.
And sometimes people might look at the quantity of time you spend with your kid, but sometimes when you're a busy person and you don't spend as much time, it's the quality of time you spend with your son. I have five daughters, so
Oh, wow.
it's hard to divide my time with all of them. But that's what I tell them. It's not the time that I give you; it's the quality of time that I'm trying to give you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Especially when you're working, or when I started in this industry, I was grind mode, like boss babe, I'm independent. I felt really, really good. I was confident. And so I was obviously, at the time, my son is turning 7 tomorrow, but at the time, like a few years back, thank you. At the time, he was younger, so maybe, I think at some point he wasn't even in school yet, but so it wasn't as bad. Kind of leaving him behind, in other words, with my mom or my dad or his dad, But regardless, you always have that mom guilt or the dad guilt. I don't know if you experienced it, right?
Yeah.
So I went through this phase of like, I missed events and everything, but it was okay because I said, oh, well, he's 4, he's 3, he's 5. He's not going to remember when he's 15 or 18 or 20, But now that he's older, and I used to say this, like, oh, I can't wait for him to be older so he can be more independent. Well, yeah, he's older, but I feel like he needs me more now.
Yeah.
So now I'm being a very, very present mom. So in the last months, I really prioritized, and my whole focus was on him. That it was a little struggle to balance like work and mom.
Or the shift.
Because because I had him on everything, on all these activities, and I had him from school, that tutoring, and then music, and then dance practice. So it was a lot the last months, but I don't regret it because I've seen the improvement on my son, and he really enjoys it more than anything.
Yeah, and the time that you can't spend with him because you're on grind mode, it's a sacrifice for him. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and I learned now that I have the opportunity to be grind mode, like let's do it, and then also the soft living, the embracing motherhood, family, little events. You get that switch. Okay, I'm ready to grind.
Yeah, and maybe the more time you put at work, it'll bless you with more wealth.
Yeah.
And you could
More time.
especially
more quality time with
Yeah.
them. Take them better places, better food, or better toys. God knows.
Definitely.
Yeah, it
Definitely.
amplifies who you are as a mom.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah.
Was there any things that you found out through your motherhood that you wish you knew before? Or
Yes, a lot of things.
maybe some mothers watching will greatly appreciate.
Yeah, let me tell you that doesn't matter whether it was planned or not planned, or if you're young or old, no one is essentially ready to be a dad or a mom. Even the people that are like, oh, I'm planning a big, yeah, they're not ready though. You know, like they're not really, don't know what's going to happen or what they're in for, right? But I had my son, I was still 23. 3 months later, I was 24, so I was like 23, 24. I was clueless. If it wasn't for my mom, I don't know what I would have done, right? So thanks to my mom for everything she has helped me with my son. I guess at the time, I wanted everything to be perfect. I wanted to celebrate every month, you know, for the first year and do this and do that and buy him all this for his birthday and do like a huge party. All that is valid, and obviously I'm not saying that, but for all the moms that are new moms or wanting to be a mom, you know, every day that you wake up and you have the opportunity to be with your kids, I think that's already a lot that you're doing.
Yeah, and people undervalue sometimes the sacrifice the mom go through during those 40 days, waking up, feeding the child. A lot of people don't appreciate that.
Yes, I always say man must always love the women because, or your partner, right? In this case, because the woman goes through everything, right? I know you guys are three gentlemen.
Too, and
Everything.
Oh my God, yeah.
Hormones, después la menopausia, I don't know how to pronounce it, menopausia, motherhood, everything, your body endures, everything, all the emotional imbalances, you know.
You have no time to be sad. You have no time for
No,
anything.
it's like, how do you do it?
Yeah.
You know, so I always say props to the mothers because you learn as you go. Nobody gives you like a booklet of like, this is what you have to do. But you learn. You make mistakes, right? I've made a lot as a mom. I try to do my best every single day with my son because as a mom and a son, or as a single mom raising a son, right? It's a lot of pressure for us parents. Of course, that's for women, but I feel like more for a man, me for a boy, because I want my son que sea un hombre de respeto, que respete y que trate bien a las mujeres, pero que también él se valore como hombre and what he decides to pursue down the road.
Que se da a respetar.
Because the man is the one that's like la cabeza, ¿no? Como dicen. So it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, we need more men like that in this society because, again, I feel like worthy men are declining. And we need more good parents, good moms to build young kids that are going to grow up.
Yeah, definitely. We see a lot of, you know, broken homes. Yeah. I mean, fortunately, my son, you know, it's the way that it happened, you know. But it's up to the dad and the mom in this case. What we're seeing right now in America, and of course, you know, around the world, all the craziness that's happening with the kids, which is so sad, right? It's easy to have them, but it's harder to raise them and make sure that they follow the good path.
Are you planning on having more kids?
In the future, maybe.
So how many do you
perhaps want? If I have one little girl, I'm good.
I think good people should have more kids. I think you should have at least 5.
Hey, yes, you know, I don't know if you are a follow or know who Patrick Bet-David is.
Oh yeah.
So he says, no, we need to start having more kids, you know, because of course we need to save America.
Yes.
And that's where, you know, one of my goals, I would love to open up a school because what are we seeing right now in schools with the kids?
They teach them things.
Indoctrination.
At least in California, right? I don't know about other states. Right now, the kids nowadays don't know what respect is, don't know what values are, you know, they don't know a lot of the things that are what brings you up to be a good man and woman.
Well, I'm 36, and when I was in elementary,
What? Estás viejo.
Yeah, I would never imagine like the things they teach them being taught to me. You know, even to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, like that's bad now. So, but yeah, definitely. I think you're gonna get there one day. I see the potential. I see the sacrifice you're putting and the hard work ethic. So. Next time you come in, and we want to hear you say that you have a school already open.
Right? No, you know what? So I'm gonna share something very, very personal, but I'm just gonna be very honest. So growing up, you know, like my dad has worked very hard, right? He has a good job, has had really great opportunities here in the U.S., right? And I never struggled with anything growing up. I was always given everything to you know. Everything, anything. Obviously I had to have good grades, but I couldn't really relate to others, to my other friends when they would, going through certain situations or struggles, or even when I was in college. I didn't have to work. My dad said, just focus on school. Like, I'm gonna, basically he would give me money, my direct deposit, whatever, not direct deposit, but he would transfer money to my account, right? And so I basically never struggled. And I remember that I was always grateful and thankful for him, because he has worked to this day his ass off. That's why he's one of my biggest inspirations, right, of who I admire. But I never struggled. I always had it easy. People knew me. I would have comments from people like, "Oh, the Richie Rich Christy," or dumb comments that I never liked. Como dice el dicho, perdón. You get what como dice el dicho, you ask what you pray for.
You get what you pray for.
You get what you pray for.
Yeah.
There you go. So I remember that I was already a mom, not showing good in that situation. And I remember I told my mom, I think I just need to start from zero. I think I need to, start from zero, from the bottom, like with nothing, and work my way up so I'm able to have a different perspective in life. And because I've always had it easy. Everything happens. I make a mistake. Something happens. My dad and you are there always to back me up, to protect me, to save me. And I said, and I'm grateful for it. Don't get me wrong, but I just think that I haven't struggled. I haven't suffered. I haven't gone through those rough patches in my life that will, really humble me. Ni es como que ni lo hubiera dicho.
Yeah.
Porque eso fue como un febrero, marzo. And literally a la semana, if anything, no sé, but right away, everything just, poof.
What you asked for.
Yeah.
But that's a blessing, because I'm sure you learn from it, right?
Definitely, at the time, I don't know como. At the time, I wasn't really big on my faith. I obviously have always grown to be religious, and but I was never I surrender to you, God, guide me, everything. And that wasn't the time either. But I remember I was, God, maybe I need to, start from zero. And yeah, sure enough. And I don't know how, but I gained so much strength during that time that I used it as fuel, me, my struggle in during that phase. I don't know how, but I was not crying. I was just now I understand it. I was just numbing it. I was avoiding it by working hard. And that's when everything happened for me. All the magic happened for me.
They say energy can't be destroyed, it can only be converted.
Yeah. And it's a blessing in disguise, right? Because, yes, I learned so much. I grew so much. I did a lot of amazing things in a short period of time. But if it wasn't because of that specific experience, I don't know where I would be right now.
Well, the fact that you were conscious about it, it's amazing. Somebody would ask for that and say, hey, I need to stop this help that actually you needed.
Yeah.
You were a mom and
yeah,
you needed the help, but you said it needs to stop.
Yeah, definitely. And there's always adversity, right? A todos nos pasan ciertas situaciones, right? That's just how life is. But that was the first step. Then when I was able to really believe in myself and say, wow, I can do this. I'm doing it. And then, another rough patch happened this year, for example. And this one was, lo que no pasó al inicio, lo pasó, pasó ahorita de que literal me puso en pausa.
Really?
Tuve que frenar because I had to really take care of my mental health. It came to the point where I was not healthy. My mental health was not good. I felt lost, but not necessarily lost. Like I said, lost at the beginning, when I didn't know, I needed to have my own identity. It was more of what do I do? I'm stuck. I can't go anywhere.
What was going through your head at the time made you come out of it?
I barely got out of it, right? Not so long ago, but I had to really prioritize myself. And what does that mean? I feel to a certain extent before I was always pleasing others, whether I was
people pleaser.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't my dad. Maybe then at that point it was something else, but it came to a point where everything just started adding up.
It's exhausting.
Y exploté.
Yo ahora sí también.
Yeah, I exploded. I was like, oh my God, I'm not really taking my problems like, I'm not finding the solution. I'm just letting it, you know, stack up. And then now it's like, I've had it. So me pasó a mí este año. I took like a pause. I focused on, like I said, my son and my mental health and my health overall. And my coach told me, because I had a meeting with them, right, a month in November, early November. And he said, so there's just some time que nadie te puede sacar, sino tú solamente tienes que sacar de ese hoyo, de ese, you know, that dark place that you're in. Nobody can help you sometimes. You have to get yourself out of there. And I said, yeah, ya sané, ya me cuidé, ya hice las cosas que tenía que hacer desde hace mucho tiempo para estar como, you know, actually happy. The inner health, like peaceful, because I didn't have peace in my life. So a lot of transitions happened this year for me that people were probably like, what happened to Christy, or where's Christy, you know? But it was necessary. And I don't expect anyone to understand, but I'm in such a better place now.
And when you say that you were taking care of like your mental health and stuff like that, did it come with like a specific, was it some sort of depression that you went through? I know you had your stuff that you were kind of struggling with, but if you would kind of elaborate a little bit on that.
Yeah, so before, when my first experience of like, I could have given up, but I actually used that as fuel, right? My sister and my mom would always, my sister would tell me, oh, me and my mom always talk. We don't know how you do it. Like, if it was me, I would be bad. I would be crying. I would be, you know, but you're strong. And I would always, and that, when she would tell me those things, those words, it helped me, you know, without her realizing it. So this time came around, and I always been the type of like a strong mentality, like, don't give in to these things, because then you're really going to get yourself in that hole. If I say I'm depressed, I'm going to start to believe it. I'm going to start to feel it. I'm really going to be there.
Were you facing it alone, or did you open this up to your family,
Alone
partner?
for a long time. I mean, at least when everybody thought I was perfectly fine because I was doing really great things, I was actually not okay in like inside, you know? That's why I always said, you know, I always say God gave me the strength. So this time, I got therapy, right? My therapist, and because after years, right, finally, like, okay, you know what? Why are we still not doing anything about it? Like, let's do the divorce, right? And it was more than anything the mess that came with it, the emotional damage it did to my son, that kind of like, you know, stirred me up. My
legal aspects,
everything.
Yeah.
So, my therapist said, you have to accept it. If you feel depressed, or if these are the, you know, if you feel like you have been in the past or whatever, you have to accept it, because once you accept it, you can let it go. Tienes que aceptarlo para que se te vaya, como se te, you know, like it starts just to leave. So I had to accept it. But for a long time I didn't. Because I wasn't like suicidal or anything like that. You know? It was just like sadness, like no energy to do anything. Like I just wanted to be alone in my room,
And we
my
all
bed.
go through some depression, so it's normal.
And especially because, like I said, women have these expectations. Ya fracasaste, o por qué, o que esto, que lo otro. It's like, no. Nobody knows the walk I've lived. So, you know, after a long time, after many years, finally it's like, well, might as well just make it official, you know? So that's what happened. And, but everything happens for a reason, because with every, you know, I could have been super upset or mad or at the world, or, you know, but I really genuinely think that this dark hole that I was in, like, is only going to help me even more in my life, in my journey.
Make you smarter, more knowledgeable.
And it's crucial too, you know, sometimes it might be less for someone. Maybe it's going to take 2 weeks and then you're fine. Maybe it's 1 day, 2 days, maybe it's 1 month. Nobody can tell you how long it's going to take you to get out of that dark place, for whatever the reason is, you know. Cada proceso es diferente, and you just have to embrace it and work with it, you know, to get out of there.
Would you say, I like how you brought up the fact about therapy. I know in a lot of Hispanic cultures, not everybody seeks, you know, therapy or anything like that. Would you say that was beneficial to you?
Oh, yeah.
And what do you have to say about that for the people that don't believe in it, right?
honestly, in modern days, if you don't have a therapist, I mean, you're behind, right? I've heard that one time. But I always say, like, when I talk with, different people in my life, I say, oh, maybe you should get, go see a therapist. No porque los juzgo de locos, ni mucho menos, because people have that mindset.
That mindset, yeah.
Especially in the Hispanic community. Like, I know, yo que le voy a andar con todos mis problemas a alguien más, or que esa persona que me... So it's like, trust me, talking about something with a stranger, I say in the sense of, like, you have no ties to them or anything, it really helps you, especially when they have knowledge or different different ways to help you cope with things or process an issue and let it go or release it. For me, at least I can say that I love her. Es una señora más grande de edad de Mexico, y every time that I would sit with her, because obviously it comes to a point where you're like, you feel good, maybe next thing something else happens, or maybe I'll call her up like, hey, let's sit down, but I think that especially the men in the Hispanic community should always be more open to it.
Right.
Because I see it in my own family.
Yeah.
It's like, go to therapy. No quiero.
Right now that you said you're the therapist, she's from Mexico, right? So I don't know cuánto cobra, pero...
Te puedo decir sus datos si quieres, porque es súper barato para lo que cobran
exactly.
aquí.
That's exactly what I was going to get to. A lot of people think, nomás because you're here, está caro. But then, there's different places, like in Mexico. I have a friend who also did there. She had a therapist from Mexico, and she was referred by somebody else. And she said, hey, she would talk to me about her stuff, her sessions and everything like that. I was like, damn, shit, like, maybe I should check it out. And she's like, no, you should check it out. I think it was like $20 a session. And it was like 3-hour long session.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yes,
Yeah, mine is, son 500 pesos, so dependiendo del dólar, puede ser como 27, 28 dólares for like an hour and 15 minutes.
That's not bad.
And she's there, obviously you can message her on WhatsApp and everything. And the reason why I went with her was because me la recomendaron. It wasn't like specifically like I'm looking for someone. It's just like now that I have her in my life, or now that I know that she's there, it's like, oh my God, it's the best thing.
So she was like a bump to your...
Yeah. Processing things, and it gave me a different perspective, and really just, it just gave me like the clarity in my life, it gave me clarity. And, for someone who doesn't have to take sides or judge or not judge, it's just really someone that, helped me out. It's like a mentor. It's literally that, but somebody that has like the knowledge in that kind of
But you
area.
have to accept it.
Yeah, you have to accept
open
it.
up.
Yeah. Porque si no, pues mejor no lo hagas. Hasta que estés listo o lista,
Do you think there's another drive? Maybe like your son, your dad, something that makes you keep going forward and just sacrificing?
So, of course, definitely my family and my son. Overall, too, though, myself.
Yourself?
Yeah. I think you have to be your biggest fan. And you have to really push yourself and believe in yourself. And I know it takes time. And I know this might sound cheesy again, but you really have to have that self-love and self-respect for
I don't think it's
yourself.
all cheesy, because you can't love anybody if you don't love yourself.
Yeah. And you know what I was doing? That's why everything that happened this year was like, I was on an empty cup trying to pour into others.
Yeah.
So I had to have my cup full, in order for me to say, hey, you know what? Okay, ahora sí, hay que darle gas.
Yeah, you can't give advice if you're not practicing that.
Yeah.
You have to be loving yourself to love others, and you have to go through battles, you have to go through sacrifices to give the lessons that you went through.
Yeah, and know that you're deserving of amazing things in your life. And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with. And that's what I struggled with at some point too. Sentía como que no era digna o no me merecía ciertas cosas for different situations, right? But it's like you have to believe it in your heart that you are worthy of so many beautiful things. That relationship, that family, that career, that success, whatever it is, You have to manifest it into your life.
We had a question that said, imagine yourself in the future. What kind of impact do you want to leave behind? And I know you said,
Yeah, this one was a little hard.
You wanted to leave this for today.
Yeah, you know what? This is actually through our trainings and everything, our sessions with in our industry. I think that through my life's experience in the last years that started, at least, it's changed. the beginning, it was proving a point, perhaps. You know, maybe I wanted to leave that impact of like someone pointing and knowing me for my family or whatever, like having something of my own, right? And then maybe it was like, oh, I want to be known for fame, right? Or, you know, it just changes, you know?
But that's good. I think people have to transition every so
Yes.
often to something better.
It's like my mentor said, you have to be, like you said, transitioning into a new you every 90 days. If you're not changing or you know, it's like,
Especially in your 30s, you're so young, you need to make something out of anything. Be important and
Not settling.
talking about age, I was just thinking this a few months ago, like, oh my God, I'm 30. I'm still not doing this or that or blah, 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 you know?
Baby number 2.
Again, putting like a limit to my age because of society. And then I said, no, wait a minute, Christy, you're doing fine. Like, you know, you're doing great. Like, you're good. But, yeah, you know, right now, what I want to be remembered or the impact I want to make is, I wanted to create more than anything, an honest life, or how can I say this? Not so much for society or for people to know me, right? Of course, it's always nice, like, oh, ni Dios lo quiera, algo me va a pasar, quiero que la gente sepa quién, o sea, por mi nombre, ¿no?
Yeah, like a legacy. Why not?
Yeah, but more than anything, I want to create, like, an honest life for my son. That's all I have right now. Maybe I can't say specifically for future kids and stuff like that, but I want him more than anything to, not, because everybody wants to be an example or a role model for their kids, right? But more than anything is just the honest way of living of, you know, I want my son to carry on. El respeto, compassion, la empatía, la comunidad, you know, those little
What do you
things.
want him to continue on? If that's something that you would to leave behind.
More of the community work,
Community work?
like the nonprofit community work. There's a lot that we all can do. Sometimes we think, oh, I don't have the money, I don't have this resource, I don't have that. But I think that we ought to generally come together as one. Because I've seen it when we had the nonprofit organization in the county. You
How
can
does
do
that make you
anything.
feel like when you help the community? It's a service that you did for free.
It's like, you can't really put it into words.
It's
a
rewarding?
feeling that's so rewarding, and you always are selfishly thinking about yourself. What can you do for yourself that benefits you? But when you can do something for someone else, that's like, you know, the best thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like giving a gift. Sometimes it feels better to buy a gift than buy yourself something. Right?
Yeah,
It's
for sure.
That feeling of giving back to something, to someone, a community.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, throughout all the struggles, the first one that you elaborated on, the second most recent one, how close to God were you? Because I know that you talked about your son being in private school and you starting your mornings with a morning prayer.
So on my first circumstance, you can say I wasn't fully, like, I always have had faith because I grew up Catholic, right? But I wasn't really like going to church, Bible study, or anything. So that's why I always say I don't know how God gave me the strength, because it's not like I was super devoted or, you know, really genuinely seeking Him, you know? And, oh yeah, please. And so this time around, I surrendered to Him. When that happened, creo que como al año, a los meses, if I'm not mistaken, that's when I first started to say, hey, I want to surrender to God. Like, I want to be, you know, I'm la hija de Dios, no? And so this time around, this circumstance, that actually hit me harder, believe it or not. And the people that are in my close circle, they can really attest to this. Aunque yo estuve más cercana con Dios in this experience, creo que me afectó más. Or at least it prolonged it. Like, it was like a longer experience that, you know, stirred me up a bit. But if it wasn't because of God, and I don't know how faith, you know, your faith you guys are, but I always say this, and I have a group message with my cousins, se llama Alfaro Cousins, and sometimes after I leave church, I just feel like I need to send them a message. Like, siempre los estoy invitando, right? Like, hey guys, like, I know whatever you guys are going through, like, trust me, you know, come with me to church, or just pray to God and He's gonna help, you know. And siempre me dejan en red, like, they never reply.
But it's not until you need God.
Yes, but
when you look
it's
for
not
God.
until you everybody has a different process, right? My parents, even though they were Catholic, no nos acostumbraron a ir cada semana, cada domingo. So obviously I grew very apart from my religion and from God. But it's until you feel like you want to, you need to, that you get close to him.
Yes. I don't want to make it about me, but I have like a little story. My parents are very religious. They serve at Cristo Rey Church.
Okay.
But I've never really felt that power of God in prayer. My second youngest daughter, I haven't shared this story with nobody besides family members. When my wife was pregnant, they said that she wasn't going to make it. That if she did, she was going to be like deformed, or she wasn't not going to be all there. It was secure. We went to like 6 ultrasounds, and they confirmed it. They were going to send us to Stanford. They're like, that's the last one that you're going to have, but for sure she's not coming in normal. She's not going to make it. They said your options. And I remember my wife, she was just crying. That was going to be her first baby. And I was like, man, God, like she needs this baby to be okay. Like she deserves it. She really desires to be a mom. We planned this. And I told her, let's pray. Let's just pray as hard as we can. Imagine you're talking to God. And we were crying. We were both praying for hours. And then the next day we went to Stanford. And it was during COVID. I couldn't go in. I was nervous, just waiting, like, what's taking so long? She comes out, and then I see her big smile, and she's like, guess what? They say that she's normal. I'm like, what?
Oh, wow.
When I was praying to God, I told God, I just want the baby to be okay. You could take away years of my life. Just give me at least 30 years with this baby and make her be okay. And I felt like he actually listened to me. So I'm not saying I'm only going to live 30 more years, but if I do, I'm happy. I'm grateful that he gave me at least those 30 years, but God is real.
Yeah, he listens to our prayers, definitely. Yeah. And sometimes when we don't believe in him, and I'm not trying to make it about religion here, right? But nos llega un día que sí. And for me, it's been, now that he's in my life, right? And it's nothing crazy that he has to do for me, because he doesn't have to do anything for me. It's just the fact that he gives me peace. Even if just going into service, I come out, si llegué enojada, con dolor de cabeza, whatever, I leave and I'm like, I feel at peace. And I feel so like, I don't know, like I can do anything.
Yeah. Those were 2 amazing stories. And it makes me think back on the earlier conversation, how you said you had to be ready to love yourself. You had to be ready to go into therapy. I feel like a lot of people wait to be ready to have a relationship with God. But God doesn't want you to be ready. I think God wants you to be how you are, level 0, down bad. And he wants to take over your life and whatever level you're at.
Yeah.
So
sometimes when you ask for a prayer, it's not like a magical thing that's going to happen. Like, for instance, also in my 20s, I was impatient. I was impulsive. And I noticed one day I called myself like, hey, I'm not normal. I need to be more calm. And I asked for more calmness, to be more passive. But the way that he answered my prayer was with more chaos, more problems. Yeah. And I when they caught it, I was like, I think he's teaching me how to be calm by testing me.
Oh, yes, definitely. I 100% believe that God doesn't send you what you can't handle,
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're going to your next, whether that's, the next position in your career, I don't know, adversity is going to come. And that's really because to see if you're really, you got this, like, can you handle it? Or you're going to just literally give up. Yeah. But that's been what I've at least experienced in my life in the last years, that when something amazing, a blessing is coming your way, first it's going to, come all the way down. Y de ahí es donde vas a seguir llega lo más bonito, lo que es lo siguiente.
Yeah, because you learn from it. Yeah, you have the experience now, so it's like, bring it on. I know how to handle this now.
I can do this, now. And and this is something that my mentor said. At each level in your life that you're in, it's gonna just get sometimes a little harder. Like the adversity is gonna come a little more complicated. It's never gonna be easy. We just have to. We just get kind of like more prepared and ready to take on the next adversity that comes our way. You know.
Apart from your mentors, do you have like mentors that like a book, like a philosopher? I know you had a quote that says, "I am the embodiment of my female ancestors."
Yeah,
dreams
I wrote
never
that.
had the chance to manifest clothes.
It was I like to write, so I write sometimes things on like a blog or
Where can they find your blog?
I don't have one right now.
Oh, okay.
Like actually, because I've had blogs. The thing is, like I've had them, and then when I started this in this industry, I kind of stopped that, right? So I'll just write on my posts, like on my captions. So this is one of my quotes. I guess
Okay.
like my quote, where it was a picture. It was a see every photo that I post when I write something very detailed and deep, it's because I believe that words are transformational. And each photo, I'm a person that loves to record and post everything if I could, right? I became a little more private now, but everything has a story. Maybe a specific cute picture is like, no, wait, it's deep. Like, this is what really happened.
It's a poem.
So that specific day that I wrote that, it was like it's longer, but I only used that in that question, that sentence. Like again, expectations of a woman, you know. So a lot of my grandma, my great grandma, my lineage from, you know, before that I never even met, querían ser grandes. O sea, yo siempre me enfoco en las mujeres, ¿no? It's like woman empowerment, right? So I know that I always say, I've been the first of many things in my whole family. I always have said this, like I'm the one who broke the chain, everything, and you could every possible way. So I said, I'm that person. Lo que no se animaron a hacer mis tías, mis abuelitas, whatever, yo lo hice. Quizás fue mal ante la sociedad o ante mi familia, pero después se dieron cuenta que fue lo mejor.
What about for your little cousins, your little nieces?
Yeah,
Generation
the
after you?
future.
How do you feel about that?
I feel that for a while I felt guilt and sadness, but then I realized that I was a badass in the family that had the courage and the
You're a worthy woman.
como dice la gente, ¿no? De hacer las cosas que no son fáciles y que nadie te dice que lo hagas o nadie te enseña de cómo, you know. Pero I wrote that. And so things that I write, I really like for it to mean something.
Are they on anywhere on social media?
I've been working on something.
Or you don't want to say it?
Not yet. I'll post it. So follow
Okay.
me on Instagram, Latina in a Suit. That's like my professional page, right?
We'll also add it right to the
Put a description on
Guys, don't go on the description to try to DM her. She has a busy schedule. She has a man.
I have a man, yes. So I've been working on something, which is the reason why this opportunity was amazing to me. So thank you once again, because
This was ours.
I wanted to show and share my transition of difficulties of being a woman, like everything in the business world and motherhood, everything. So I was telling my friend, and I was telling you earlier that it's como que algo me está frenando, ¿no? So I have something that I've been working on where I'll be posting like, you know, things that I want to write that I feel, or audios and everything, but that's still in the process of the, you know, the works. So todavía no lo quiero decir muy bien, pero si Dios quiere, ya en 2024 va a ser un muy buen año.
Well, you're always welcome back to the Worthy Men's Club.
No, thank you. Thank you
podcast.
so much.
It's a pleasure. I know we're running out of time, but is there like a message that you want to give before we close? Advertise something, promote something?
No, just that if you ever feel lost, you know, like maybe with a financial goal, or maybe you feel like you want to have a little bit more knowledge in a specific topic, right? When it comes to financial services, feel free to reach out to me. I am more than happy to go to your business, to go to where you work, to go to the school you work at, or if you're a student. I'm here to provide education and information about the opportunity and also the services that we offer. We have a team, a very selected team of, you know, knowledgeable, trained, licensed agents and brokers. So I am just more than happy just you know, be the voice of a Hispanic Latino community here in the area. And so any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And thank you so much, for having me. Échenle ganas, especially when, you're going through a rough patch. It's not the end of the world. Continue, agárrense de Dios y pues, como dice mi papá, tienes que toparle.
How much money can someone expect to make after the 3 months, 4 months of training that you told us about in the beginning?
Okay, so this is a good question, actually. And it depends. Everything's going to depend on you, right? Because like I said, when I first got started, or let me just say anyone, right? When anyone gets started, depends on the drive and the motivation they have to be like, I want to do something different in my life, right? I want to pursue a different career. I want to have more flexibility, give my family a different, stability, right? And so somebody can come, and it depends on them. What do I mean by this? Depending on how they're doing the process of the licensing, the training, are they really attending the trainings? Now we have them also in person, obviously here in the Monterey County, right? Or in San Jose, we have the next one in Silicon Valley office. So somebody can come and get a license right away, and maybe in the next, I want to say 2 months, right? They can. I've seen it with where other agents are making like $3,000 in their first paycheck. Maybe for a lot, it's like, oh, that's not a lot. No, it is a lot for someone that just got licensed and is still not even like fully knowledgeable in this industry. Then somebody else can come and just make maybe 1,000, and then maybe somebody else can come, and depending on maybe they are fully booking a bunch of appointments or really working with the community, and they can make in the first 3-4 months, like I've seen this, like 7,000 or 8,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it really depends on you.
And then compare that to maybe the top earners in your group. After years of experience, what can we say as a typical check?
I just seen today on the band that
Band was like a group chat?
It's like a group chat, like WhatsApp for like companies, big, like to have everybody on there. The new pay cycle updated, and one of my business partners, and they're actually in the Phoenix area, they made $28,000 in just 1 week. They got paid for the week of this week, $28,000. My mentors are making about $100,000 or $140,000 a month.
And the people that are starting off have that opportunity to make those type of monies.
Definitely. Obviously, it takes a lot of consistency, commitment.
A lot of content.
Being a student, being coachable. Maybe at the beginning, because I've seen people that have actually been in the business. They're not quitters though. This is the crazy part. They've been in the business, and maybe they're not making like these high amount of monies every paychecks every month or so, but they will eventually. But it's their drive and dedication that's like more like it's what amazes me, But definitely there's money. There's a lot of money in this industry. You just have to be ready to work, because nothing is given to you. You have to work for it and earn it. Here you have the opportunity to promote yourself, get like more money, or grow a bigger team. Whether that's you can say, no, I don't want to have a team. Okay, well, you're just gonna be working with clients, but maybe you want to have a team. You're gonna now be working with like 5, 10 or more people in the community, where you guys are not just reaching to 10 people. Now each person has a 10. Now you guys are making a bigger impact. And so that's a beautiful part of this industry, that anybody can make whatever they want to make. It's like me, when I first came in, I didn't know how much I wanted to make, and so when you see what your potential and what you can do, when you can make, you're like, oh wow, like sky's the limit.
Were you working somewhere else, had another job before this,
no,
part-time or anything?
I was just from college. I went to stay-at-home mom and wife at the time, and then I jumped straight to this.
Okay.
And now I've been doing this since 2020.
Best way to handle rejection in the job?
So there's obviously trainings for the rejections part of it, right? You might not get them the first or second time, but you're going to get them the third time, because sometimes people could be very, very hard-headed, but eventually they realize that they really need that service or that life insurance topic. The follow-up is the follow-up for me that sometimes people slack with. The follow-up, it's not the first appointment. It's like, are you really following up? You know?
Yeah, sometimes the third. That's
Yeah. And it's a learning experience because at the beginning you're gonna get rejected and it's gonna hurt. You're not gonna know how to really deal with it.
Have thick skin when it comes down to any type of sales job.
Yeah,
And
no.
essentially
At
you're
the
selling
beginning,
them on something.
como que pasaba, la saliva, and I would be like, okay, then that's fine, thank you.
Yeah, you can't be shy.
You know, but then you start, okay, but it's kind of like we have like these trainings of and it's with any kind of salesperson, right? Okay, but you said that you really cared about your family at the beginning of our appointment, and you mentioned how you really want to send your kid to college. So this, it kind of like
you like reading, right?
Like what?
You like reading?
Yeah, reading.
There's a book that I read that was pretty good with this. I'm about Persuasion.
Okay, I haven't read that one.
It's very good, and it talks about making things personal. Like when you're selling something, like you said, what about your kids? Or
Yeah,
what
you have
about
to
your
really go deep. I mean, you need systems. So in this case, we have like all these trainings that people are probably like, oh my God, so many trainings. Like, yeah, well, do you want to grow or do you want to stay stagnant, you know? And so these trainings are crucial to your growth in any kind of business, I would say, or any industry,
If a young lady or a young man wanted to get into this type of business and they might not have someone with a network to get them a mentor, what would be the best way to find a mentor or start their journey on becoming a broker?
So if somebody, that's a good question because we've actually had people who's, when we're doing like the interviews, right, for the opportunity, they said, oh, well, I'm very shy, or, we give them the tools to first find confidence, we give them the tools. We first start saying, hey, let's shadow us and let's just do practice trainings with your family members. Then the more that how can I say this? The more simple you make it for them, I feel like it's easier, like they really find it easier to attain. Like, oh, okay, maybe I'm shy, but because we've had these people, I used to be super shy and I used to see them talking to like 3,000 people, or giving these trainings. So it's all about the confidence that you gain, and sometimes it's also like, hey, you know what? Cuando uno sabe, ¿no? Que están como un poquito shy. Hey, we're going to this networking event. Come, I want you to go with me. And it's more like getting them out of their comfort zone. Like, hey, it's not hard to talk to somebody. It's okay. You're going to talk to 5 people. You're going to get rejected by 4. One of them is going to, want to book an appointment with you or not, But it's all about just getting them out of their comfort zone. Sometimes it's really building them up their identity. And then they feel like,
Awesome.
okay, I can do anything now,
Can they personally contact your company for maybe an opportunity?
Yeah, anyone?
Are viewers watching that are interested in becoming a broker?
Oh, yes. So definitely anyone in the company or, for example, myself in this area, right? Or if you know anyone that's also part of the team, etc., like reach out, reach out to me. Maybe you're not in Salinas, maybe you're not in the Monterey County, but maybe you're in the LA or Oregon, or who knows. We always have an office in wherever you live because we're in every state here in the U.S.
We got your Instagram that we're going to put in the description. Would you like to shout out your group?
So basically we are in I just have that Instagram page. But we are here, the Cal Financial in this area. So we have an office here in the downtown area. It's Suite 5, 150 Cayuga Street, kind of by the courthouse. And anyway, if you just reach out to me, I can redirect you to maybe the person in the where you live in the nearest office. If you want any more additional information about the opportunity, I'm more than happy to do it virtually, in person at the office, or meet somewhere like a coffee shop, or even we go to their house. If they're like, hey, you know what? I have me and my husband. We want to learn more about the services. Can you come to our house? Oh yeah, I'm more than happy. I take everything and, we provide that information for them.
Awesome. Yeah, that was it for my questions. Did you guys want to ask something else?
You got some questions, right?
Well, I know that we didn't really touch too much on this. It was mainly, the career and a little bit of your personal stuff. But as a single mom, kind of what would you say for single moms out there that you can say that can kind of relate, in a sense, how difficult it was for you? One thing that really stood out and so forth that made you who you are now?
I think that definitely what it's very hard, right? But I think it's harder when you don't have a support system. Maybe you don't have family, parents that are supportive, siblings, friends, you know? So it's very, very difficult. It's a difficult journey for anyone. Everybody's situation is different, right? But for advice for those single women is find that circle, that inner circle, that sisterhood, those people that are willing to help you, you know? Because when you're struggling, it's kind of like they say el dicho, no? When you're doing amazing, everybody wants to be your friend. But when you're struggling and you're like in a dark place, or, you know, nobody wants to be near you, or todos se apartan. So for those single women, we have a lot of single women and single men, single parents in the company, in the industry, that are doing amazing things. So if you're looking for an opportunity, or even like a support system, or like a sisterhood, like, you know, family, you know, reach out to anyone specifically that you know, or reach out to me. Because here, when I was lost, even though I had my parents' support and everything, my siblings, I needed like a different kind of inner circle, you know, and they are who saved me. And I always say this to my mentors: if it wasn't for you both, I don't know where I would be right now. But you both saved me and made me to the woman that I am. And obviously, like I said, every 90 days you should be transitioning, right? Building your identity. But any single woman out there, find that support system. Don't give up. I know it's so easy to say, don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. You know, whatever you have to do to feel whole and at peace and like yourself all over again, whether that's going to the gym, whether that's cutting out people in your life, even family sometimes. Whether it's, you know, going to church, finding God in your life, whatever it is, like, believe me that sometimes when you feel like there's no like solution or there's no way out, trust me, like there is. And you just have to have a lot of faith.
Yeah, there's always a way out.
Yeah.
Well, that was it for my questions. Yeah. Anybody else?
We're good.
Yeah, dude. You already closed it out earlier, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna push that to the end. But thanks again for coming on.
No,
I feel like
thank
our
you.
viewers
Thank
are gonna
you.
learn a lot, especially career-wise, but maybe more importantly, you know, the struggles and how to overcome them.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for having me. I prayed before, you know, I prayed when I was in the shower at my house, and I said, God, like, you know, let me be myself, let me be transparent, and if I can impact one person that's watching this, like, I really hope that this was helpful for you. Also, yeah, what you guys are doing here in the Monterey County is amazing, you know, because there's a lot of people here that are have businesses, have maybe they're doing a different kind of career, sports, and so you guys should what you guys are doing is amazing, because you guys will be able to highlight those people, you know,
Right.
and with their struggles, their challenges, their growth, they will be able to impact the community, because that's what, in reality, in the Monterey County, it's all about community at the end of the day. Whatever you do, whatever you're pursuing, your success relies a lot of with your community, you know. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Shout out to the friend for eating this. Let's
Shout out to-
Thank you. Yeah, really be.